The Incarnon Tomos was highly anticipated and not so great. The Incarnon Soma was highly anticipated and not so great. Do you see where I'm going with this, right? Hey guys, welcome back as always. My name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into the Incarnon Dread. I got an endgame setup simply because these Incarnon adapters are not exactly new player friendly. That said, I'm still going to be going through everything that you need to know. What evolutions to pick, what works, what doesn't, how does a build look like, and what kind of performance you can expect. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the Incarnon Dread. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. The Incarnon Dread is basically the Dread, a traditional style bow, but once you install that special Incarnon Genesis adapter, you're gonna be getting yourself the fancy new crosshairs that changes configuration as soon as you go aim mode. Obtaining headshots will be loading that loading bar underneath the crosshairs, like so. With any load level, you can go Incarnon form, and in Incarnon form you're gonna be getting yourself superior stats and a different aspect of the bow, not so much for the arrow. Now the projectile also changes, no longer is it a standard arrow, but instead it's a fat projectile, awfully thin but awfully wide as well. If you ever play with the Fluctus heavy weapon or arc gun, you know exactly how this one will feel. It travels pretty quickly and it's gonna be able to go through every single target, as the projectile has infinite body punch through, but upon contact with a surface it has this detonating effect. It looks like it's exploding. There is no explosion, it's only a visual thing. Evolution 1 enables the weapon's transformation. At Evolution 2 we get fantastic talents, kinda. The first option is gonna be Hitman's Opportunity, increases damage by 70, that is gonna be a flat amount. Also increases damage by 100% if enemy has less than half health, which is fantastic, but the idea of the Dread was always to go for one-shots and it's not really gonna help you with that. On the other hand, you have Coup de Grace. Increases damage by only 50 instead of 70, but on hit increases damage by plus 10, plus 10% fire rate stacking up 5 times, and also resets on a missed shot. This is a perfect talent for the Dread because you need one fire rate source on the weapon regardless, whether from a mod or perhaps a Warframe Arcane, you need that fire rate, so this is a no-brainer. If it would work, which it doesn't, you're only getting the 50 base damage. Let me make myself clear, after they fix this bloody thing, go for Coup de Grace so you no longer have the mod fire rate on the weapon. But until then, we're going with Hitman's Opportunity. Level 3 or Evolution 3, this is the usability tree. Usually here it's dealer's choice. You got 30% projectile flight speed. You can add some more projectile flight speed in the weapon's Excel slot. Next is Marksman Focus with minus 30% zoom. For really fantastic people that love your zoom, you can get rid of some of it over here. And finally you get Hitman's Horde, increases ammo capacity by 144. This makes no bloody sense. No bloody sense whatsoever to have this on something like a traditional style bow. Best in slot, arguably swift deliverance. But you know what? You can go for whatever you want. It's not really gonna make that much of a difference. Of course, if you hate zoom, you're gonna go for that one. Finally, at Evolution 4, this was the tree that we were hoping to see some cool talents in combination with the hate and the despair. Unfortunately, that is not the case. What you get is Survivor's Edge, 10% critical chance and 10% status chance. Not a bad option to go for. Next 24% status chance. I wouldn't be going for this one. When it comes to applying statuses from the weapon, 50% of the damage is gonna be hit, 25% is impact, and 25% is slash. You know what? Nah, not really. Then again, you can go for Zeroed In, increases critical damage by 1x. That of course modifies the base multiplier from 2x to 3x in normal form, and from 3x to 4x in its Incarnon form. With a 50% base crit chance, we're gonna be going with Zeroed In. In case you're a more newer player and you came across the Dread, then congratulations to you. This is a fantastic traditional style bow in Warframe, and it has carried many Tenno through many mastery ranks. But this build is dedicated to the end game setup. If you want to see something a bit more new player friendly, I got your back. Look at the cards right now. As for the veteran, we're looking at something like this. Multi-shot with Galvanized Chamber, Prime Cryons mixed in together with Malignant Force for that fantastic vital damage. You can still make vital damage on your secondary, use a primer, or perhaps the Panzerwolf Profila, but when it comes to Seal Path Circuit, it's the smart choice to have the vital built on the blasted weapon. Fire rate on the weapon, you need one fire rate source, and since that blasted talent doesn't work, we're gonna go like so. If the talent would have worked, then you do this. You get yourself your Bane mod. Disgusting, gross, I know, but it is an option. If not, you go with Serration, because at the end of the day, look here, there's not a whole lot of flat damage on the weapon outside of Galvanized Aptitude, because we are going to be using Longbow Sharpshot in the initial form of the build. I will give you an option later. Let's talk about Galvanized Aptitude. This is a fantastic choice on the weapon, but what you gotta bear in mind is the fact that there have been some inconsistencies regarding the damage benefit of this one and the plus damage from Incarnon Talent, so bear that one in mind. If you're afraid that you're not going to be getting the damage benefit because this is an AoE weapon, this is a fat projectile, not an explosion. It is not treated as radial damage, so you will still be getting that damage benefit. As for the Arcane's option number one is going to be Longbow Sharpshot if you're going to be going for headshots. This one will provide the biggest wallop worth of extra damage. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're not familiar with this one, link in the cards right now for more details. As for the XL slot, I'm going to be going with Terminal Velocity and 60% projectile flight speed plus another 30 from the talent. That means 90, and it's going to be juicy. First, we're gonna go like this, then we're gonna change the approach to non-headshots, and then finally we're gonna go with a juicy Riven mod. We're gonna be spawning in level 165 Corrupted Heavy Goons. And you know what? Exogog as well, because we are not currently using a Ben mod, so we should be going like so. There we go. Now, of course, this is a galvanized setup, so you will have to build the weapon a little bit. I love the extra fire rate. Slash no viral, still absolutely murder the target. That's gonna be a one shot at a 57,000 bleed, another 48,000 bleed. Take a look at that. The weapon is fully charged. Switch to Incarnon form and fire that fantastic fat projectile. Now, of course, it is very similar to another weapon we already got. I'm talking about the Incarnon Paradox. The weapon goes through everything. It applies a whole lot of procs, a whole lot of slashes, and essentially dominates whatever stands before you with great vengeance and might. It is highly effective, especially if you go for that all-important headshot, as the 4x multiplier from the Arcane is just nuts, to put it simply. One more time, the same targets. You're not really gonna see much of a performance difference between the Exogugstad and the Corrupted Heavy Goons, at least not at this level. Look at those slashes, beautiful. Slowly and surely annihilating whatever stands before it. Now, this is the headshot route, and let's be honest, some of you guys simply say, hey man, I don't want to go for headshots, I just want to go for body shots, it's a fat projectile, so I'm just going to use the weapon like that. Well, in that case, you should modify your build a little bit, the Arcane and one additional mod. This is what I would do if I'm going for body shots. Forget about Longbow Sharpshot and go for the safe route, and the safe route has always been Primary Merciless, and instead of Galvanized Chamber, Split Flights, because yes, my friends, Split Flights definitely works on this one. So we're gonna go like so. It doesn't mean you can't get headshots or that you shouldn't aim for a headshot, but keep in mind that the projectile for this one has had its headshot multiplier removed. Still gotta go for headshots to charge up that weapon though. Look at that. Split Flights in action, man. This is why you go for Split Flights. Those tons upon tons of projectiles. Look at them. Look at them go everywhere. Granted, accuracy is not your forte with this kind of a build, but you don't care now, do you? Now let's talk Riven mods. This is a high disposition weapon because, let's be honest, it's not a very popular weapon. And it's still not gonna be super popular after the Incarnon form, I feel. As for your Riven, you should go for something like multi-shot critical damage, perhaps some fire rate. No, they will fix that, a talent at level 1, so no fire rate. Go for an element so you can make the elemental combo with a single mod. I got a critic can and a acri can. Guess which one is best? Multi-crit damage zoom? Multi-crit chance zoom. Guess which one? Guess which? Come on, guess. Critical damage, of course you guessed right. I'm gonna announce the fire rate just for the time being. And I'm gonna go back for the headshot approach. This is what I enjoy the most. I love a weapon that asks of me, hey, play better, you will get better results. This is what I recommend for you fantastic people as well. At least try. If not, go for the split flights approach. It's gonna be just fine. As before, go for headshots. 91,000 no viral. 200,000 with viral. And the weapon is not even fully stacked. Now granted, that lack of fire rate is hurting my soul, but you can always use a Warframe Arcane if you're not in the Steel Path circuit. As for the damage this one perks out now, I mean, excuse me, the contact damage is enough to absolutely annihilate whatever stands before you. And if the contact damage wasn't enough, then don't worry about it, because the proc is gonna get your target afterwards anyway. This is the kind of performance you can expect out of the weapon, but of course you're gonna say, hey listen dude, this is standing still target, it's very easy for you to get a headshot because you know, they're not moving. And you do have a point. Welcome to Steel Path, and in the interest of full disclosure, I'm gonna show you this one from the get-go. My Revenant has arcane acceleration, which is why I'm gonna be able to charge this weapon a whole lot faster, and therefore the gameplay will be a bit more streamlined. I am the guy that goes for headshots. I am not the guy that gets consistent headshots, but I do try at the very least. Obviously, in normal Steel Path, at this level, the weapon is gonna be clearing whatever stands before you. I don't think I need to point that out. Essentially, the contact damages alone is enough to absolutely annihilate the target. It doesn't even get to the procs level. So from a power perspective, there is realistically no reason to cry about this weapon. The power level is there. Is it as exciting as I would have hoped? Probably not. But let's go kill that capture target. I think it was here somewhere. Where'd you go? Did I kill it without... Oh, I killed it without wanting. Hey, 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 how you doing? 30 easy headshots, because yes, I am on Revenant. The slash value there was 220,000. Do you need more than that? Don't be silly. Of course you don't need more than that. Did you check out the orange contact value there on that target? Because that was with the benefit of the X4 from the arcane, which again, highly, highly fantastic. Now, I can keep on shooting these guys, but honestly, it's not really gonna prove much of anything. I'm gonna destroy whatever stands before me, and it's not gonna be hard. But how about an Acolyte, right? That should prove a bit more interesting. Incarnon form ready, and fire. And I do believe that's pretty much it. Took a couple of arrows. I think I did manage to get a headshot or two in there. And this is the kind of performance you can expect even on an Acolyte. Not bad, not too shabby. Time for a little bit of Warframe buffs with the ever so lovely Lady Mirage Prime and her outstanding buffs. Corrosive Projection is a no-brainer against heavily armored targets, but please don't treat this like the gospel. You don't have to go for this mod specifically, simply go for the aura of your choosing depending on your Warframe build. Arcane Acceleration is a must in case you don't have the talent fixed or equipped on your evolutions, or if you didn't want to build fire rate on the weapon. Choice, as always, is up to you. Arcane Avenger, not a bad idea. 45% critical chance for 12 seconds, but considering the amount of flat damage on the build, this actually works with a little bit of Rage. Arcane Rage offers you a lot of flat damage, and it's pretty simple because it's an on-headshot effect. Level 165, Exogoog and Corrupted Heavy Goons as per usual. Empowered for Mirage and her free ability Eclipse for an absolutely sky-high 840%. And one more time for the ever so lovely clones. Now let's charge up this puppy. We're gonna have to get a couple of hits to get the fire rate and all whatnot. Obviously the weapon is gonna be one-shotting even like so, but this is more a credit to Mirage than the actual weapon. But of course you wanna see the Incarnon mode. And the Incarnon mode essentially will act like a broom in the sense that it's gonna be sweeping everything off the map. Like so. That's a 500,000 shot there. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, my friends, it's time to draw some conclusions regarding the Incarnon Dread that has been so wildly anticipated. Much like the Soma and the Atomos, unfortunately, this one isn't as hot as perhaps we were hoping. It's easy to get caught up in your nostalgia and say, hey, this is horrible, I expected so much more because the Latron does more, because the Mitre does more, and so on and so forth. Let me make one thing very clear. This is not a weak weapon. This is a very powerful weapon, objectively speaking, fully capable of essentially doing whatever content you want in Warframe. But there's another objective truth. This is also a weaker version of the Incarnon Paris. And honestly, me having to say something like, hey, you know, the Paris is better than the Dread is not something I ever wanted to do. Take it with a punch. With a punch? What the fuck's a punch?
A pound.
A punch! Take it with a pound of salt. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback for me, let me know in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you want to suggest any particular type of content, like, hey, I would like to see this weapon review and that weapon review, and so on and so forth. You can also catch me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Oh, and if you love the content and you want to help me keep making it, consider supporting us via Patreon. There's gonna be a link in the right portion of the screen right about now. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.